Okay, then on behalf of NITTTR Chandigarh and all the centers, sir, I welcome Dr. Sanjeev Chadha, who is Professor and Head Management Development Center at Mahatma Gandhi State Institute of Public Administration, Punjab. That is actively involved into policy level research for at the state level and into training of the government officials from different departments of the state. And earlier Dr. Chadha has a very rich experience. In the past he has worked with Delhi Financial Corporation also, and as a dean Bhaddi University also. Then he has run for several years his own institution also. So with his rich and varied experience, we thought of why not have Dr. Chadha for the session on organizational technology strategy, because since he has been an administrator, he has been a head, he has been into teaching, he has been into research. So I feel so he was the right person who could build upon when an organization wishes to go for acquiring technology or planning technology, what strategic planning they should follow, and what decisions they have to make and how. So I welcome you, sir, to this session. And now, without coming between you and the audience, I request you to kindly engage the session. Thank you. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Dr. Amardev. Thank you. And good morning, various centers which have been connected with us. The JSS Academy of Technology, Noida, Government Women Polytechnic College, Jaipur, Gyan Jyoti College, group of institutions, Banoor, and Ram Devi Jindal group will come up, and Vidya College of Engineering. See this topic, PPT. See this topic is very apt topic in that sense that you already know what technology management is all about. So I'll just take a few seconds on what technology management is all about, and then we can go ahead with our topic. See, when we are talking about technology management, we are very clear, and now you already had 2 days prior trainings on this. See, it's of 2 words, technology and management. So that means the use of technology to improve the working. And today's time is of a technology enabler, wherein technology has become a tool, a very efficient tool to improve upon the working of an organization, and it includes everything like knowledge, products, processes, tools, methods, systems, which are used for the creation of certain goods and services. And we let it be very clear that in whatever business we are, including the education or services we need to give the best to the customer, or who's our client, or who's our agent, so that he comes back again to us, because we are working in a very competitive kind of an environment. Then coming back, see, today, I mean, I'm just talking and I'm just remembering that scene from Three Idiots, wherein the teacher talks about technology and machinery, and the protagonist, Mr. Rancho, says that everything is machine. A zipper is a machine, a telephone is a machine, a mic is a machine, an AC is a machine, a geyser is a machine, a heater is a machine, a car is a machine. Anything that makes the lives of a person easier is a machine. And it has been developed in terms of collaboration between the science on one hand, engineering on the other hand, and to improve the working human conditions, and at least to improve upon the efficiency part. And this is the marriage between technology on one hand and the management function on the other. So which would mean that the technology has to be enabled in such a manner so that we are able to get the best, the post-COB use of technology in terms of planning, organizing, coordinating, controlling, or we may say use of technology for planning, organizing, staffing, directing, reporting, budgeting, post-COB view given by Luther Gully. So it's a marriage which is very convenient, and it makes it a multi-disciplinary also, wherein the integration between the sciences on the one hand, engineering on the other, and the knowledge is on the third hand, And the idea is, again, as I said initially, to provide the best to the customer and be always ahead of our customer. And it will also include the various designs and the resources which come up, so as to improve upon the technological innovation and treat the technological innovation as a competitive advantage that any organization would have. Now, see, this you have already done, and see the technology, till the time it is made applicable, or that's the difference between science and technology. Science on one hand and technology or engineering on the other hand, wherein one is a conceptual framework, other is the practical framework. So till the time your technology is actually linked to improvements in standards of living. For example, we may take the case of machines, which I was always talking about, maybe mobile phone. Mobile phone is nothing but is a machine which provides us methods of communicating while we are on the move also. Like take the case of mics, microphones, one cannot reach to a very large audience, but with the help of machine, with the help of microphone, we can reach very large audience. Take the case of a press, take the case of a vehicle or a car, wherein we can move very fast. Take the case of a metro or anything of this sort, wherein machine makes our lives much easier. Then technology should be able to enhance the economic prosperity of a nation also. Herein we can take the case of India, wherein because of the advent of technology after 1990s, so much of infrastructure has created, and one of the jewels of our crown is the metro that has been created in New Delhi, and which is now spreading to various other cities of the country, including Jaipur, Bombay, and maybe over a period of time at Chandigarh also. And you could see how fast moving trains, fast moving aeroplanes, then the fast moving vehicles, see how our life has become much more easier, and because of competition at a very nominal cost also, how our life has become very easy. So today, while I was coming on while driving, and again see the kind of gadgets that even while driving you have, I mean, it's marvelous. The keyless entries and the automatic ACs, which will smell what kind of temperature you are into it. And again, the FM, which is again a revolution that has come into the radio networks, which was one sort of time considered to be obsolete. So the advertisement talked about the contributions or the accolades of the UP government, wherein they are coming up with 6 expressway linking Agra with various other important tourist centers of the country, and between Agra to Varanasi between just three hours. So that is marvelous what is coming up. And mind you, all these certain countries which we term as developed countries, and including China, you can cover around 200 to 250 kilometers per hour while you are going on road. You can cover, so roughly around 500 kilometers you can cover in on 2.5 hours. So they are already ahead of us, but we are trying to build it up. Then third aspect or application of technology is that technology helps us to create wealth. And you can very well relate to what kind of salaries, what kind of business profits, what kind of growth we were having prior to 1990s, that is between 1947 to 1990s, and after 1990s, wherein we adopted this liberalization, privatization, and globalization model. And see, this model is in itself nothing but trying to link up our country, which was isolated because of some kind of a socialist policies, to the entire world, and see how the technology transfers have been done. See, while we are talking about, see, I like to share with you, while during my MBA days, we used to read these books by Alvin Toffler, Power Shift, Future Shock, all these. See, I was never able to relate how, while without a wire, how somebody can move and even talk. Mobile phones I'm talking about, how with RFID and with barcoding and all, how come I mean see, you go on a retail centers and things, the rates go on changing with a click of a button or a mouse. See, these were because other countries, they had all this during the starting with 1960s and all. So technology has become a big enabler. Then see, the technology provides you a competitive global economy. If you just see the last India Today magazine, wherein you have the finance ministry on the cover page. wherein, see, today the world is looking over to India in terms of the growth aspect, because India has become a driver of the growth not only of our country but of the world together. Because of the economy of China going down, people have started looking at India, and they say this the growth rate that we have been projected like 7.5% is very good, and this will help us drive the entire world's growth as such. And if we merge the technology with the business, see, any business, is there to achieve a set of objectives. So technology will help us as an enabler to achieve those set of objectives. And the pool of knowledge which is available to the society will be converted into the technology, and then it will be converted into the products and services which the people will use. And further, it adds value to the assets of the company, and it also provides us a competitive advantage, wherein no other company, if or an organization, if is not if it does not have an access to the kind of technology, then there will be entry barriers to it. So therefore, if they have to protect their business, because now I'll be coming on to the strategy part also of the organization strategy, or to the corporate strategy. Now, if just to recapitulate what you have already done, the role of the management of technology as such is, in a few words or in a nutshell, we may say how technology is created. Then secondly, how a technology can be exploited to create business opportunity. Third aspect, how the technology has to be integrated with the business strategy, because my role will be more of the integration of technology with the business strategy. And then how the technology can provide you a competitive advantage. Lastly, or second last, how the technology improve the flexibility of manufacturing and services systems, and when to enter and abandon a technology. So we should be very clear, when, if a technology is created, when do we know that the technology has now become obsolete and we should get out of this. Take the case of Nokia. See, Nokia was number one mobile phone, not only in India, but sort of world, till the time smartphones came into the scene. And once smartphones came up, you just see what happened to Nokia. Nokia was forced to even sell off the brand. Today it is Microsoft, and Microsoft have taken over the Nokia brand, and it is nowhere. I mean, someday, while thinking, because we were the ones who used Nokia throughout while the mobile phone started. Somehow, I mean, just kept me thinking that what happened during, I mean, last 2 3 years, the brand which was there for so much time, and which became a part of the entire, strata of the Indians as such, the 1100 I am talking about. See, it becomes obsolete because there was somebody who was investing more into the technology, came out with another better technology, which we term as the smartphones. And the company with Nokia was always in a denial mode. Nothing will happen, kuch nahi hota. We will be able to compete. And today, see, the normal phones are out of business. And that is what has happened. So if this can happen to a Nokia, I suppose this can happen to anybody. We'll further take many more examples while we go through this aspect. Now, see, technology, and those people who have come from industry, I know many professors and academicians are from industry also, they will appreciate and agree with me that technology itself is nothing, or technology itself cannot produce any commercial results till the time you actually apply the technology to get the commercial benefits. And today what has happened, that people or entrepreneurs who are coming out with good ideas, they are providing you the technology, and they are linking the ideas and their technology to carry out with the world, and to come out with the products or services which are there in. See, taxis were earlier also there, but with Ole and Meru and all these people coming into the scene, Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal. See, the use of technology in getting an idea and to reaching the customer at a very nominal cost. And I mean, no better example could be there in the kind of apps that you have there. If you want to get you want to go to a restaurant, there's no need for actually, to cover and go up. There's an app known as Zomato. You just go onto the app, you just see what are the restaurants available, how much discount is available therein. You just go onto the app and find out, and try the best deal which is therein. And even you can just ring them up, and they'll come out with the kind of food that you require. So that is what technology is doing. And maybe they do not own a restaurant, but they have provided a platform wherein now the technology is linked to the commercial success of a business organization. Now just see, now I come on to my own topic, which is the strategy part. So the strategy part, generally we talk about, one is a business level strategy, other is a corporate level strategy. When you talk about business level strategy, see, idea is that we should be ahead of our customers. We should be ahead of our customers, meaning thereby that we should have some kind of a competitive advantage. This advantage could be in terms of a low cost. If the quality of two products is similar, which product you think will be actually sold? Somebody who can offer a good quality at a lower cost. So that is again a competitive advantage that a company has. Second aspect is differentiation. How my product is different from your product. Like I take the case of Nokia, a normal phone and a smartphone. Samsung comes up with a smartphone. It's different. Take the case of vehicles. I mean, the kind of vehicles that are we getting, especially the cars that we are getting into this country. Like I was mentioning, the keyless entries. You enter inside a car and the car sets your own temperature. See, it's a differential which is there, and the customer, if the pricing is a little similar, or even if he'll not mind paying you a little extra also if you provide him all the features. Airbags, again a differential. Then focus, low cost, and the focus differentiation. So this is further micro aspects of this, wherein you can work on certain maybe reverse engineering to come out with cost which no other can give it to you. And herein take the case of Maruti 800, which we were having at such a cost that no place in the world such kind of a vehicle can be given to you at that cost. Though Nano later came up at a slightly lower price also, and see, that became their USP, but somehow it again became the stigma also. Again, there's so many case studies which talk about why Nano is not being preferred in this country, though pricing was their strategy, differential strategy. And if you are talking about overall the corporate level strategy, that means at a macro end, then one word, see, the strategy should be able to create value for the organization as such. Now, what do we mean by creating value? And if you just see the definition which is there on your the projector, see, it's corporate strategy. It says is a way a company creates value through the configuration and coordination of its multi-market activities. Herein, while we are talking about creating value, please be sure that the value needs to be created for all the stakeholders, meaning thereby value for the shareholders, who are the promoters of the company, who have put in their hard-earned money, their blood and toil into the company. So you need to give them dividends. You need to increase the value every year. Secondly, other stakeholders are the employees, because employees are the ones who are creating that kind of a value. An organization in itself is nothing. It is the employees along with the leaders who is making the organization do whatever the organization is doing. So second aspect is your employees. Third stakeholders would then become the customers. And in a competitive environment, in a democratic setup, it is the customer is the king. So therefore, if you need to create a value for the customer, like we were talking in the last slide, the customer, if he gets a good quality product at a fraction of a cost, he'll always be there with you. So you need to find out a technology and pass on to the benefit to the customer in such a manner that the customer is loyal to you, which we term as the brand loyalty. So because of your product, the quality part, and because of your services. And mind you, while we talk on corporate strategies and all these, what comes to our mind, is big organizations like HUL, the Hindustan Unilever, the Cokes, the Pepsis, or the Procter and Gamble's. But mind you, I was reading a case study uh, in terms of branded data, and you will be very surprised to know that Shakti Bhog Atta, which is a very small brand based in Delhi, has always been able to pip all these big players, Cargill, then Hindustan Lever, all these, uh, uh, and it's all, and no strategy, no pumping in money, no advertisement was able to, take this market position from Shakti Bogata, which is a very small player if you just compare. And take the case of another is now these Patanjali uh, products that of Baba Ramdev, which are coming into the scene. And see, mind you, all all multinational corporations in this country are now wary of the products that Babaji is selling in the country. Already, he has been able to get a figure of 2,000 crores from these 5,000 bigger outlets and 5,000 smaller outlets that he has in this country. So therefore, and mind you, he does not have the services of all big, the big MBAs which are there into the scene. So the idea is that you need to create a value, and then other aspect is you need to create a configuration of various markets into its the product, geographical and the vertical boundaries. Herein you take the case of any multinational corporations, like we take the case of Pepsi, which is there in around more than 150-60 countries. Coca-Cola is another 150-60 countries, and you just see how they have been able to work on the various aspects, and then various businesses which are there in the verticals part, how they have been able to carry it out. Just take the case of Tata. Tata manufactures, like while we were kids, बोलते थे कि भी टाटा एक ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जो मतलब एक सुई से लेकर और एक जहाज तक बनाती है. See, that was the kind of Tatas we had. I mean, it's an Indian sort of a multinational corporation, which produces everything from salt to vehicles, to cars, to automobiles, and to CNCs, to UPSs. It manufactures so many things. So there are various verticals which are therein, and how it has been able, Rattan Tata as the head, or Mistry as the head, or the top team which is therein, how it is able to coordinate that aspects of a multiple setting wherein they're working and multiple business that they are into it. So this diagram depicts the various corporate or organization strategies, which has the resources of the business, and then the business should have a vision, and then further it percolates down to the goals and objectives. And once the vision is set it up, so therefore the vision should be actually reflected in the lowest of the low employee that an organization has. If the vision is there just to be hanged on a wall in the director's room or the director general's room, then it is not a vision. Vision is if it percolates down to the lowest of the lowest level, starting from the director, or from the managing director, or from the chief executive officer, to the general managers, to the managers, to the assistant managers, to the support staff, and to even to the level of maybe what we term as the support staff in terms of the cleaning staff, hygiene staff. All these, they should be very clear what is the vision and the mission of the organization. Once the mission and the vision is clear, then we can further lead to certain structures of organization, certain systems which can be produced, what is our dispatch system, how is our admission system, what are the certain processes which are therein, and this will lead us to corporate advantage. Now, see, while we are all teachers, and generally examples I am giving you in terms of corporate, you will be able to appreciate. But since we are there and we represent some educational institutions, herein also you would have seen that there are vision statements that every institution has. Maybe the institution like JSS Academy or Government Women Polytechnic, and this you will find generally in the room of the Director General or the Director or the Principal. And it may talk about maybe we want to become the #1 institution in the country in terms of a technology or in terms of management over this period of time. But if it is not percolated to the lowest of the lowest level, then the things do not fall in the right perspective. So that vision related from the principal or from the owners, promoters to the principal, would lead to the, would further go down to the teachers or the faculty members, and from in therein to the lab support staff and everybody, and leading to giving the best to the children or the kids or our students. And thereafter it becomes a competitive advantage. And you take the case of see why people of our country want to get into an IIM or an IIT. Around 3 to 5 lakh people appearing for this examination. See, because these institutions of excellence have been able to, have been able to come up their vision and missions, which was hanged on the wall, to actually down to the lowest of the lowest level. And mind you, not so very long back, while I talked about IIT, IIMs, I also talked about JNU and Punjab University also. But today, I mean, I don't think JNU, I'll not be speaking about it. So that's a corporate advantage that an organization has, especially an institution. So while we are talking about an organization strategy, so any of the promoters or the heads or the leaders, they should they should question themselves that what business should the corporation be in, because we are talking about a corporate strategy. Corporate strategy means macro strategy in a long period of time. How should the corporate office manage the array of business units? What makes the corporate whole add up to more than the sum of its business unit parts? So this is the synergy part. So we should be able to answer all these questions, and if we keep on answering all these questions, then we would be able to know and see the what is coming up. Because see, change is only permanent thing in the world is change, and life is quite unpredictable. Even business does not know what is coming about, what will be the tastes of the people, what new products are coming up. Even Ford at that point of time never anticipated that some kind of revolution would come up in the automobile industry. Similarly, the case of Lenovo, similarly the case of Hewlett Packard. So they people never thought it over. They thought it's a continuing process, we'll be able to continue. And there was less and less of technological innovation over a period of time. And generally, if you find out, all good corporations, they have something known as the core business. This is the core business, is the one which provides the maximum revenue to the unit or to the conglomerate as such. And then secondly, it could have something which is closely related business, and also it may have maybe unrelated businesses also. Take the case of, let's say, Bharti Airtel. So Bharti Airtel has ventured into which whose USP or the core business is telecommunication. But you, as you would be knowing, that Bharti Airtel has ventured into retail sector also with Easy Day, and it has also ventured into education with the Centium and many kind of a skill development organizations. So they may core business would be maybe 75, 80, 85, 90% of the revenues, and everything will be coming of Bharti Airtel from the Airtel business or from the telecommunication business. But another 5-10% will be contributed by retail or the businesses which are therein. So again, that's a part of the strategy. So whether you will be going in for a strategy which in wherein you'll go for your core competencies, only those areas which are related, maybe forward linkages, maybe backward linkages, or you want to go into unrelated fields also, like Tata does. Tata is into very unrelated fields which has nothing to do with their core competencies. So maybe over a period of time they would like to shift. So again, this is a part of the strategy and the management who would like to put it across and who would like to get into all these aspects. Now, if we are talking about the business strategy or organization strategy, you could just see the screens wherein it is business strategy is composed of many areas, talking about corporate culture, the various strategies that is therein. Then it talks about strategic planning, or it talks about the evaluation and the analysis of the strategy. And again, as I said initially, that while we are talking about strategy, we talk about the futuristic thinking that an organization has. See, that is what the head is made for. And I generally give this example that If you just see the body and how God has created the body, see, God has not given any task to the head. Head is not holding anything, head is not walking, head is not breathing, head is not eating. Then what is the purpose of the head? If you just ponder it over, just think it over, the purpose of the head is to just think, and think, and direct all the components, all the systems of the body to do what it thinks. And that is what head is all about. So therefore, the top management in any organization needs to just think it over. You need to have a body at place whose task should be to see the comparative advantage, to see the competitive business environment in the country and world over, and just think it over, that what will happen to our business in the future. And generally why organization fails, and this is my whatever I read and my own viewpoint, because we keep on thinking on these subjects. See, generally business and even persons also, they fail because the head is not thinking. They put themselves into the rut of operations to such an extent that they are very happy in terms of just into operations, 9 to 5, 9 to 8, or 9 to 7. They start at one level and they are just moving forward, that's all. So personal level also, business level also, organization level also, if we are not thinking, so that means herein the word is that we do not have an organization strategy at place, because there is no strategic planning, there is no strategic thinking, there is no strategic intent, and further it is not leading to any culture, corporate culture or organization culture, and or institutional culture you may call, or even home culture. And there is no evaluation because there is no planning, and there is no analysis also. Just think it over. I'll request all the faculty members who are therein, because see, sometimes we just think that what is strategy, how it will benefit us. No, see, as an individual also it can benefit us, in the sense that if we make a strategy, oh, somebody like Barack Obama thought, I want to be the president of this country, and then made full efforts to get into the post of presidency. Similarly, take the case of Narendra Bhai Modi. I want to be the prime minister of this country. And see how he worked backwards to actually create linkages to become the prime minister. It is not for, something came about, oh, let's make him the prime minister or the president. No, no, no. They worked for this. They made a strategy. They worked for this. So we also need to work. Maybe we are in a government institution or others, and we are very happy to have 1 or 2 classes a day. But see, if we are not thinking, how can we be the vice chancellors? How can we be the director generals? How can we be the principals? How can we be part of the think tanks like NITER, or maybe the agriculture research, or maybe the technology research? Somebody like a advisor to the prime minister. See, if we start thinking on these lines, then only we draw up a strategy, we make up a planning. I'll just make it clear, but I'm just trying to arouse your interest that it's not only for organizations that you need to have a corporate strategy. You need to have it for you as well. Now just see, if we are talking about organization strategy or organization long-term planning, long-term decision making, the very important aspect of this is the corporate or the organization culture. When we are talking about the organization culture, we knew that what kind of a culture an organization has. And I hope those of the faculty members who have been into maybe 2-3 institutions, they'll tend to know that there are certain organizations whose culture is quite different while the organization the person has joined in. Like the case of in teaching only, let's say you were into some national level institution and you resigned, and at a higher post you joined a state level institution. So you'll find out that there's a hell lot of a change in the culture, because uh, therein the culture may be little broad-minded, wherein you are tend to come in contact with somebody from the foreign countries, somebody with very big institutions, and herein at the state level or the local or the regional level, the thinking is so flawed, it is so myopic, it is very small in nature, and you've not been able to implement what you did there in a general thing. And herein, if you want to have a facility, you need to ask so much time for that, and therein it came naturally. So the beliefs, the missions, the vision, the leadership, what kind of a teamwork is there in, and then later on we can talk about the kind of the logos, the image, and what kind of the relationship between the top management and the middle management and the lower management. So this will make actually, you know, the corporate culture, and it is very, very, very important. And it is not only, mind you, it is not only about the corporates. Here in corporate would mean what, no, would not mean, but herein I would mean here any organization for that matter, and even an institution is an organization, and you will appreciate how things change while you change an institution. So an organization or an institution will go as long as the vision of the institution is at place. So you would see that how till the 1990s, people from North India or engineering students from North India were going to the South to get into the various courses, maybe be it the polytechnics, be it the engineering courses, even medicine. And how after 1990s, some entrepreneurs into the area, they saw of this as an opportunity, and they got all these AICT approvals and set up those institutions wherein see, the people have not now stopped going to the South. So they had to have vision, and therein I would like to name a few, like you have the which started off as a college and came up as an university, and many others also, and LPU, all these, so which came up, and today, you know, uh, they kept on adding certain courses, and today they have around maybe 15, 20, 25, 30,000 students. So otherwise these students would have gone to the southern states of the country, or maybe even to the outside of the country. So if you can offer somebody a course which is as good as a quality and at a price which is much lower, so then the students will come to you. And this vision which your organization wants to be having it in the future has to be, you know, has to be summarized in terms of your mission statements, and this actually has to go from the top level to the lowest of the lower. And if it does not go, then it is actually not a vision and a mission. Now coming back, see, while we are talking about corporate culture, what kind of a corporate culture a company has? So this could be a Nike, a shoe making company. It could be airlines, Tata Singapore Airlines. It could be a communication company, Reliance or Airtel, Vodafone. And mind you, all these companies may be having some similarity in terms of culture, but there could be lots of differences also in terms of culture. And that explains why when certain companies are merged with each other, though old employees, they leave the organization. Maybe they are not very comfortable in the new setup. So therefore, the culture is very, very, very important. And those people who, you know, who actually came up, they will be able to appreciate more. Similarly, take the case of McDonald's. Now, while we are talking about strategic, another aspects of the organization strategy is the strategic planning. So this will mean the futuristic thinking and the strategic intent. What are the vision, the goals, the objectives, the aims, the analysis and development, and the evaluation? And like any planning, but if we add how it is different, normal planning, how it is different from the strategic planning is that planning generally is a long term, but while we are talking about strategic planning, it is generally for a very long duration, and it will include your try to coordinate or collaborate the vision of the company with the certain goals and objectives, so as to flow them from the top level to the lowest of the level. So herein, how do we have a strategic planning? How do we do strategic planning? So wherein first thing is the futuristic thinking. We have to think 20 years ahead. We have to think 20 years ahead to come out with a business proposal or an idea that what will be there in the 20 years. And mind you, there's a Japanese company by the name of Toyota. It's an auto manufacturer. See how I was reading somewhere how it gets ideas. They generally call the students and students to the range of somebody who is in class 2, class 3, class 5, they ask these students to visit their plants, and then they ask them to draw a model which they think is the best. And mind you, Toyota has got so many ideas from these small kids, and you will appreciate that even in India now, the smaller kids are much more they are much more comfortable with the technology if you compare ourselves with them. Similarly, Mukesh Ambani, Reliance Industries Limited, holds a business proposal competition every year, wherein there's a prize money, and from the business proposals are screened and they come up from all good business schools throughout the country, and a competition is held up wherein presentation is made and he himself is present, and uh, the copyright then goes to the Reliance Industries Limited, and that the winner gets an amount which is a very hefty amount in terms of prize money, around I'm not sure, but around 25 lakhs if I'm correct. So that's how, see, the head is thinking, and the head knows that ideas will only come from brainstorming sessions, and one brain or two brain are always better than one brain. So take the case of Toyota, take the case of Reliance Industries Limited. Similarly, take the case of Virgin Automobiles, Virgin Airlines, and they are into so many businesses. They tend to, try to get the ideas that what will happen in the future. And only this aspect of human being has made so much development. Certain diseases, as you know, uh, see, they at one point of time were very popular and they were killing. Diseases like polio, diseases like malaria, diseases like even today, if you talk about diabetes, talk about heart, talk about cancer. But see, how come somebody with a vision, the companies, the people, the scientists, is so much researching on those aspects and trying to get out ideas so that the life of the people can be improved for the future. And then this technology becomes an enabler, and it is then transformed into a commercial venture in terms of biogenetics or whatever. I don't know what is possible for the future, what is possible. So any organization which is futuristic thinking, the organization will be able to do much better. Then the planning says that it should have a strategic intent. Once the thinking is clear, once the vision is clear, then we need to know that what are the areas we would be working in, and how the vision or a dream can be actually converted into a reality. And Brent Davies, who's a visionary and who's a philosopher into this, he says we have not to confuse the strategy. The thicker the planning document, the more useless it will be. It can come into one word, like the case of Toyotas, wherein one design given by the student transformed into a design by the company engineers into a car. Similarly, one thought of Rattan Tata that we need to build up a car which is cheapest in the world led to the designing of Nano. And planning would be, like I was talking, that the heads or the future leaders or the leaders should take time to think and reflect and allow the time to the business to actually get into the organization part. And it will include your vision. Strategic planning will include your vision, wherein as I said initially, that the vision needs to be communicated to all levels, be it the top level, middle level, and even at the lower level, and allow the firm to set goals. Once the goals are set up, then the long-term targets and the objectives that each of the business unit and each of the business personnel are, or each of the organization who are into the structure are able to achieve or should be targeted to achieve, they should be able to do it. And so the strategic planning would therefore mean analyze what we need to do, what is our vision into the future, and develop and introduce a strategy, and then try to implement the strategy as early as possible, as soon as possible, because competition is there to catch it up with you, and you need to constantly evaluate it so that the feedback goes into the inputs. Now, Jack Welch, as you would be knowing, had been the chief executive officer, the chairman of General Electricity, GE, which we call it famously. What he has to talk about strategy. This was in the book Leadership by Jack Welch. He says that strategy, we know, we tend to confuse it with so many words. And he says it's very simple. He said, how I was able to do it is that in the short run, keep on cleaning. And in the long run, keep on dreaming. That is what strategy is. You just need to dream. Somebody dreamt that human beings can, fly like eagles. So there was the aeroplanes. Somebody dreamt that you can go at 80 miles per hour. So there was the vehicles. Somebody dreamt that you can talk to somebody who's far off. So there was telecommunication. Somebody dreamt that these diseases can be eliminated altogether. Somebody dreamt. And in the short run, you have to, is a Kaizen approach. Every time you come up, next day will be better than the first day. And he further says, see, I don't confuse strategy. I don't confuse a strategy. I just see the direction. I just get the direction, what needs to be done, and then implement it like hell. Literally, he says, then implement it like hell, because there could be people who would be thinking about it, but only who will be getting the benefit, who is able to implement the same. Otherwise, there is no fun. Similarly, our own beloved Rattan TATA, what does he say? He says, I don't take the right decisions. I make my decisions right. So whatever decision I take, I implement it in such a manner that those decisions turn out to be the right decision. So at the end of the day, now, if we are talking about the strategy part, so strategy would mean a long-term thinking, a long-term planning, a long-term futuristic vision. But then it is not a dream. It is not a dream. This dream has to be realized by hard work. Like I said, somebody thought that he can be the prime minister or the president, and then he went on to become it by going into various phases, maybe starting off into the local level, then national, then the state level, and then maybe the national level. So if we are able to provide a structured aspect to the strategy, to a long-term planning, then it becomes the strategy. Now just see, I mean, while I was thinking that how strategy is available or strategy is useful to us, so these things came to my mind, that how technology has become an enabler, especially during the last few years, 1990 onwards. Just imagine what was banking before ICICI Bank came onto the scene. So today we talk about mobile banks, today we talk about ATMs, today we talk about internet banking. Just imagine what happened to our PSUs earlier while we went there. Today talk about privileged banking. See, banking has actually changed. Banking has actually changed with the technology part. Today at the click of the mouse, today at the click of a button, you can transfer thousands of crores from one account to the other, which was not possible earlier. There's no need to go to a branch, and all transactions can be done through the ATM. All transaction can be done from the comfort of your house on an internet connection. See how things have changed during all this. We never had imagined. There was a time while you go to a public sector bank at around 2 o'clock with maybe a 5 lakh, 10 lakh, and the cashier will close the shop. He says, now come after 1 hour. This is my lunch time. See how things have changed. Similarly, take the case of e-commerce. Take the case of commerce, I would say organized retailing, wherein I'm a big fan of Kishore Biani, how he turned the retailing into a big business, wherein today from the malls which were maybe 500,000 square feet to today 1 lakh square feet mall or a 2 lakh square feet mall. And you'll be surprised to know that how over the last maybe 5 years even e-commerce or these companies who are on a platform have been able to pip up the Big Bazaar. Today, in terms of valuation, Big Bazaar may be around 10,000 crores. But you'll be very surprised to know the valuation of Flipkart is 66,000 crores. It is $11 billion. So, and I am taking a dollar at 60 rupees. And if you talk today's value, it is around 65, 67 rupees. So this is more than 66,000. It's around 70,000 crores. And mind you, uh, Flipkart owner Sachin Bansal is just 33 years of age. And the time that Biani ji took for getting into this mode of 10,000 crores, see, Sachin Bansal did it in just 4 or 5 years. So again, use of technology as a platform, and the idea, and converting that idea into commercial business. Then further take the case of how government is getting into, you know, improving the plights of the people. Aadhaar, Nandan Nilekani, and how, you know, a big problem in terms of the subsidies linked to Aadhaar. And tomorrow maybe this becomes a green card like you have in USA, where everything is linked to the Aadhaar card, and it's being done. It's being done. So even if you know, go to a pizza center and order something, the government will know that you were ordered a pizza. If you get a loan, the government will know you've got a loan. If you have a FDR, the government will know that if you have an FDR. So it will be very difficult for the unscrupulous element to actually, you know, bypass the circle and get into maybe tax evasion or maybe other aspects, and good for normal citizens, wherein the money will be used in a much better manner. See, again, Aadhaar becomes the entire platform or the technology of linking. And mind you, this is the world's largest platform in terms of linking of people. Not only India, the world's largest platform has been created in terms of Aadhaar, that is UIED, and we should be proud of that. Then take the case of education. We have come across education today out of the boundaries, out of the big institutions, out of the universities. You can study uh, in the comfort of your homes at 12 o'clock at night or 3 a.m. in the morning if you feel like. And there's no need that if somebody, you know, completes that course in 2 years, you also have to complete it in 2 years. No, you can complete the course in maybe 10 months or 12 months by putting in, logging in more and getting to know more information, and going for the online tests, and the degree is there within 1 year. So this is what flexible education has done with the use of technology. And it has the potential actually to know, change or liberalize the entire technology. What happened to banking or e-commerce, see, tomorrow it will happen the same to the education industry also, wherein I think over a period of time, and with MOOCs and all, Khan Academy coming up, and even you know, IIM Bangalore's coming up with your various courses, maybe over a period of time these big institutions, I mean, God forbid, they become redundant over a period of time. Like you have virtual banks also in America, Fargo Bank, I suppose that's the name. So you have virtual banks also, wherein entire all transactions can be done on the click of a mouse, and they do not have the brick and mortar banks as such. There are no buildings, nothing. They just have the ATMs and some center to control all these aspects. And similarly with the case of e-commerce, they do not have all these big malls as such. So technology has become an enabler. Similarly, take the case of our old times when we had just a Doordarshan to fall upon, maybe a Chitrahar, maybe a movie. I think the youngsters will not be able to relate now, and would not be able to digest also that how can, you know, you can see one channel. And today you have more than 300 channels, which is again has been possible just because of the technology part. So that content part, and even that goes into the entertainment and the news part also, knowledge part also. And you could see how media has become so powerful. Had it not been the case of the technology, see, things would have been different. Then take the case of the infrastructure. While I discussed some part earlier, wherein uh, at one point of time, today we are having around 14 kilometers of road constructed roughly per day. And our honorable minister says that we need to increase it to 30 kilometers per day. And I remember, without technology, uh, see, there was a time when you could not even have maybe half kilometer of a road per day. So it was only at the initiative of our erstwhile Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee that we started building roads. And today you could see how the bridges, the roads and everything, the infrastructure, and that has happened only with the technology. India did not had this technology. So initially they tied up with joint ventures with foreign companies who came up and constructed our roads, bridges. But later on we took the technology as such, we learned, and today we are manufacturing, we are creating these roads and all ourselves. We are creating all this infrastructure ourselves. Rather, we are helping other developing countries also, and it's become a commercial venture for us. So companies like Indian companies like L&T, Indian companies like our Delhi Metro, and Sridhar, he is in the consultant list of various countries for creating metros for these. So they have grown airways, roads, bridges, and how things are, and what kind of, you know, airports that we had. Chandigarh could another 5-10 years back, we could have never imagined an international airport at Chandigarh, but now it's a reality. And what kind of see, they have the marvelous. Mumbai airport is marvelous, Goa airport is marvelous, and similarly it goes with Bangalore, similarly it goes with Ahmedabad, and tomorrow, see, it will be the turn of the tier 2, tier 3 cities wherein you will have an airport. See, this has happened because of the technology part, some futuristic thinking, some strategy, some planning. And I am discussing that way both the government part also, private part also, and institutional part also. Then once a corporate strategy or organization strategy is at place, then you need to come out with an analysis part. So analysis, you have to analyze that what are my strategies, what I am doing, what I need to do, and you tend to do it again and again and again, evaluate over a period of time, analyze over a period of time, to see that your company is still relevant, which I think Nokia did not do, or when there are many other companies which did not do, and they go out of business. Core competency is slightly technical word. Herein it would mean that what is the area wherein I will be more comfortable, what are my strengths, what are the areas wherein I would be able to beat the competitor, wherein I am the best. So you need to see what are the areas. Then you would see what are my core business. Just take the case of, let's say we take the case of Tata's. So the core competencies of these are into the maybe truck manufacturing. We can say automobile manufacturing, but because of cars, I would not use the word. So we would say the loaders or those manufacturing as such, because cars have not been able to do it. So core business would be the one which contributes the maximum revenue to the entire aspect, to the kitty. So that's the core business. And then what are the uh, inputs in terms of, herein all organizations, and even I'm talking about to you all my faculty members personally also, carry out please your SWOT analysis. SWOT would mean the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And mind you, strengths and weaknesses are internal to us, whether as an individual or whether as an organization. What are my strengths? I know, that is internal to me. What are my weaknesses? I know, that are internal to me. And then you, opportunities and threats always come from the environment. It always comes from the environment or the outside area. So strengths would mean what are my strengths, what are the areas wherein I am very good. Weaknesses would mean what are my areas which I am not so good. Opportunities would be what market opportunities would be there today and tomorrow for us to exploit. That is why I see people have gone into those areas which have been even unrelated. I was taking the case of Bharti Airtel, but you can take the case of Reliance Industries also, Mukesh Ambani, wherein see at one point of time while they were together, he was the brainchild behind the telecommunication business. But while the business was divided between Anil and Mukesh, Anil got the telecommunication business, but Mukesh always knew that the I would like to get into the telecommunication business. See, and now he is getting into it through this Reliance Jio, which is a 4G. And herein it's a differential aspect also, that he is not getting with the 3G, and it is more into the data part. Voice part is also there, but it is more into the data part. So he is revolutionized, and they are working into this right for the last so many years to get up to this idea. Similarly, other sunshine venture is the retail. So he knew I wanted to get into retail, and over a period of time, see, many retail chains have been closed, whether it was 6 to 10 or it was Subiksha, they have been closed, but and even more group also closed or maybe reduced. But Reliance has pumped in money into this, and over a period of time it will realize the value by carving it into a separate company, and then the promoters will get a lot of profit out of this, because a 10 rupee share will then be sold at a market premium of maybe 300, 400 to 500 rupees. And they should also be able to know what kind of threats are there in the future. So that is what your entire strategy is all about. Then while we are talking about the strategic part, the strategic planning part, there's another formula which we term as the, apart from SWOT, is the PEST. PEST would mean the any company, any organization, if it wants to invest into another country or into another region, it goes into with this formula of PEST. PEST would mean political, economic, social, and technological. It will try to find out all the factors which are therein, like what are the political developments, because they are putting in their hard-earned money as an investment. They want their money to be safe, and you would appreciate how our stock market jumped while this government came into the scene around 1.5 years back. The stock market, which was a very low stage, it actually jumped. So this means that the stock market welcomed the change in the government. Similarly, uh, the multinational corporations who wanted to invest in this country in terms of FDI, foreign direct investment, or foreign institutional investors, they came out and they started investing because they were of the opinion that the new government which has come up will actually work all out to improve the ease of doing business. And mind you, we were at around 154 out of 180 countries in terms of ease of doing business and ease of starting business, which our present Prime Minister is after. And during the last 1 year, we have jumped around 12 spots to get into. So while somebody wants to invest in a country, he would like to see all these aspects, especially the political aspects at the levels. And if he's comfortable at that political aspects, at the national level, at the local level, at the regional level, then only he would be able to invest into the country. Then second aspect is the economic aspect. Similarly, herein also the case of India, like I was mentioning to you, how India today in its cover page of the finance minister talks about India as the only engine of growth now, not China, because China has gone down and the world is looking at India. Reason being that our demographics are very good. More than 30-35 crore population, which is in middle age group. That means somebody who has a disposable income of more than 25-30,000 rupees. So that is the reason why all your mobile companies are coming to India, all consumer product companies, all automobiles, all of your all airlines, all automobile companies, all manufacturing companies, they are coming to India and trying to manufacture in India as such, because they know they'll have a ready market which is therein, and later on it can be exported also. Pricing of the oil which was at 100, 120, 140 barrels dollars to a barrel, today has gone down to 25, 26, $30 to a barrel. So this also makes an impact. What are the economic scenes? What is the inflation rate? What is the growth rate? What kind of employment that the country is providing? Because if you are providing employment, they'll have disposable incomes. So any company, any country, if it needs to invest into another company, another country, it needs to see the economic aspect also. Then the other is the social aspects. What are the social mores? What are the social traditions? How the people are liking it? So, like we take the case of non-vegetarian. India may have a large chunk of vegetarian population, and in non-vegetarian population, large chunk of population takes the mutton and the chicken, and not the beef. So if some company comes here and want to start up a beef unit, see, he will not be welcome here. And take the case of what happened in Haryana recently. See, and mind you, what it is an irony that they are going to have an investor meet in Haryana in near future. Near future meaning thereby another 4, 5, 7 days, and around 30,000 crore of investment had already been committed to Haryana. Now, would you believe that anybody will be interested in putting the money in Haryana with the kind of what has happened? No, I think no, no, no well-meaning person. So apart from 34 to 50,000 crore that the state has lost in terms of the business value, another 30,000 they have lost, which had been promised to them in terms of investor meet. No businessman of any sanity will come up and put its money in Haryana now. And it will take another, because Haryana never such a thing had happened. It was considered to be the state in terms of investment. That is why you had so much investment in terms of Gurgaon, Faridabad, Manesar, Kundli, and all Japanese plants, all USA plants, all Taiwanese, they were into the vicinity of Delhi. It enjoyed a very good locational advantage. That was a differential. But see what have they done? What have they done? They have ruined themselves. I would, if that word is not a misnomer, but I would say it will, that stigma will hold for maybe, if not less, another 5-7 years. The people will not like to invest. See, the social aspects, very important. Then is the technology aspects. What kind of a technology is available? What kind of a technology we need to go further? What kind of an impact is therein? All the car manufacturing units came to India. The reason being, we did not have stringent norms in terms of the security aspects in automobiles. Our cars can go on the road without a balloon or without a airbag. This is not allowed in most of the countries of the world. So they came to our country, and whatever junk they had, they put it here. But tomorrow, these companies come up, and maybe because of some kind of a Supreme Court regulation or other High Court regulation, they have to fit up the balloons into the cars. The cost will go up, and whatever advantage they already have in terms of costing, they lose that advantage. So it is very important that what is the technological available as such there. This I've already covered. Now see, Porter, Michael Porter is considered to be the father of strategy. He is a very well-known philosopher, author in terms of a strategy, wherein he gives this the 5 forces model of competition. He talks about threat of new entrants, bargaining power of suppliers, rivalry among the competing firms, bargaining power of buyers, and threat of the substitute products. This we'll see in the next of the slide. So it says that how easy it is for the new rivals to enter the industries. Just take the case of this, maybe it's a fad or maybe it's a fiction, that during the last 7 days, your first page advertisement was something known as a Freedom 251 smartphone. I am not sure how successful it will be and whether it will be able to, deliver the phones that they have been promising as such. But providing a mobile phone, and that too a smartphone, at just rupees 251, I think he has been able to, kill the all competition if he's able to do it. Even if he's able to do it in 500 rupees, the entire competition is killed up. So what kind of a barriers? So therein, if the barriers of entering into any business is low, then many people will enter into the business. And if the barriers are high, then only a few people can enter into the business, and the competition could be smaller, or competition would be lesser. So this needs to be also seen, that what kind of barriers. Take the case of, let's say, airline industry or aviation industry. As per the government of India, if you need to fly to foreign routes, then you need to have a cooling in period of 5 years. Meaning thereby that only those organizations who have been there, that means the Jet and the Sahara and Indigo, who have been there for the last 5 years, now they are being provided licenses to go to the foreign ventures. But this has not been liked by the new entrants, meaning thereby the Tata SIA or the Air Asia, who want to get a pie of this competitive and profitable business wherein they can fly outside. And they say it is the monopolies that you are creating. Similarly, take the case of universities. Punjab had just 1 or 2 private universities for the last 7-8 years. No university was given the module, no university was given the approval to be set up. And it was only after 7-8 years that private universities were welcome there, and today we have another 5-7 universities. But during these 5-7 years, the earlier university has got hold of the competition, they operated in a monopolistic situation and got all the profits, which the advantage the new will not be having. Then second aspect that Michael Porter talked about, that what is the extent of rivalry between the firms? How competitive is the existing market? If you take the case of colas worldwide, there are just two players. One is a Pepsi, other is a Coke. Pepsi and Coke worldwide, they are competitors, and mind you, uh, there is no other player. Though there could be substitutes, like we talk about it in this example itself, that there could be substitutes like juices, tea, coffee, who will make people to go for the substitutes. But somehow these two competitors on one hand and maybe collaborators on the other hand, their pricing go hand in hand. They do not come out with something what this Freedom 251 came about, that a cola at the rate of rupee 1 or cola at the rate of rupee 2. No, it does not talk about this. So if the number of participants are more, the competition will be higher and the margins will be lower. If the number of participants or the number of sellers are less, so they can always collaborate. Then another factor is the supplier power. So if the suppliers are strong and powerful, the company has less control on the organization. But if the suppliers are not so strong, then one can have a concept like just in time of the Japanese management, or maybe because of the relationship between the suppliers and the dealers, or maybe between the collaborative aspects. So therefore it is quite useful and easy, because all products will not be manufactured by the company itself. And buyer power, how much power do customers in the industry have? So if the customers are strong, if the customers are aware, if the customer know their rights and duties, like I was talking about the airbags, all these vehicles have been sold into our country, rather they have been dumped into our country without all the security apparatus that should have been put in the aspects. That is why every day you start a newspaper, you would see the battered cars, the vehicles, because the security maintenance or everything is not at place. You will not find the same in the other countries. Then types of strategy as such, like there could be a downsizing, meaning thereby that certain businesses which do not connect with you, I'm talking about the core businesses, you can reduce their operations, or you can get out of. Also delayering also, wherein the certain layers are more, in the sense that in an organization structure, in one unit there are 10 people, but it is found that even 5 can carry it out. Take the case of banks here. Initially, while you went to go on for a draft, it was done by 3-4 people, but today you just go by, give him the application, and he comes out with a print and signs and gives to you. So delayering has been done. Similarly, restructuring of the entire business, how it will be controlled. And herein I like to share, we at Maxipa, we were doing a manpower audit or manpower study of one of very famous universities in Punjab. And we have actually restructured or recommended for restructuring the entire organization structure. And wherein in terms of the corporate strategy, we brought about organization strategy to bring about the strategic planning division also, emphasis on the placements also, emphasis on the admissions also. Today that university is quite in a sound position, but tomorrow if that university has to grow, that was like what as experts we talked about, that if the university has to grow in the top 200 or 300, then it has to mend its way how it functions, and it should start from the top with a lot of restructuring and having experts in the right place. So this is again a strategy wherein Boston Consulting Group came about. This is more relevant to the corporate structure, wherein he says that the group says that you should be in the businesses which are of which gives you high industry growth, and wherein your market share is also high. So the first cell, which is the stars, is that herein this industry is growing and your market share is also high. So you should retain this. Question marks is the second cell, wherein your market share is lesser and industry growth rate is more. So you can put in some kind of a hard work here by maybe restructuring and others. And cash cows is wherein you may have a high market share, but the industry is not growing as such. So this industry is not growing, but your market share is quite high here. So maybe herein the strategy is to milk the cows till the time you can actually milk it, and knowing in future that it goes. And dogs are the one wherein your market share is also low and the industry does not have a potential to grow higher also. So it's the strategy says that you should quit such kind of a industry. Now I think my time is 11 o'clock. Another I'll take 2, 3, 5 minutes. See, while we were talking about technology and I discussed how strategic strategy comes up as our organization strategy. See, while we are talking of strategic technology management, this I got from a very good book, wherein it says that it has 8 parts or 8 phases, starting from the technology creation, then technology monitoring, technology assessment, technology transfer, technology acceptance, technology utilization, technology maturity, and last is the technology decline. So all technology that comes up in an industry or herein, it goes through the 8 phases. Technology creation, as you know very well, is how a technology is created and it is adopted or adapted by the certain organizations as therein. Now phase 2 is the technology monitoring, wherein it's the idea is to have certain information systems for monitoring the technological trends and the changes. You need to be constantly and continuously monitoring that what kind of other trends are therein, so as to see what competitive analysis, and maybe an idea is that our competitor should not be ahead of us. And we need to have a customer and a supplier interface. Like I was talking about the example of Toyota and the kids. That's a kind of a customer interface, and many organizations go for a feedback from the customer. And you can also ask other stakeholders like your internal staff, research bodies, etc., that what kind of the market trends would be there. Assessment would be technology assessment would mean the directions of markets in terms of technology, and then integration of the technology with the business planning. Once you have the technology, now you have to link it up. Like take the case of Flipkart, Snapdeal, Amazon, who have linked the technology with the business planning, and their business model is that you order online and they provide you the product. You just see on the net the products that are available, the pricing, and you order, and you have an option even of a cash on delivery. And they were facing problems in that sense that they were rejections and otherwise. So even to assuage the customer, they say that within 30 minutes, 30 days, if you want to send the product back, it is returnable and no questions will be asked. Customer interfaces for the assessing the commercial feasibility and assessing contributions of technology projects to business strategy. Then is the technology transfer. Like we were talking about 1990s LPG. Most of the technology that we have today came out as a joint venture, whether it was Hero Honda or it was DCM, Daewoo, or it was Yamaha, Kawasaki, or it was Maruti Suzuki. These people had the technology and they formed a joint venture with our companies. And later on, this was transferred to them, maybe at a fee or otherwise, or maybe in joint venture. And then once it is transferred, then it is internally from R&D to the production. Initially, the technology comes from maybe a foreign core. It goes on to be transferred to the research and development wing, who adapts and adopts it, and then it goes on to the R&D to the production. Then is the acceptance of the technology. So herein you would see that whether you need to accept the technology as it is, or you need to adapt the technology as per our own corporate culture. And senior management needs to have a lot of commitment into this, because if the senior management is not committed to a technology, like take the case of usage of computers when it came into the government sector, people were not comfortable and they did not want to work with the computers. It was very difficulty actually to get the government servants to be on the computers. They thought it's just like a dignified typewriter. So lot of difficulty, but then with the help of the top management, with lot of training aspect will come up, the technology can be actually accepted, and whatever the hurdles are therein, what are the restraints are therein, they can be removed. Then sixth is the technology utilization, and this phase involves how the technology is used to actually get into a commercial venture. And this venture would be further supported by production, marketing, all aspects of finance, and the technology is now used for creating the business or the commercial aspects. Lastly is the technology maturity, like I was talking, that you should know when the technology is dead. Like take the case of Nokia, we know that normal phones are now dead. Take the case of Maruti 800, they withdrew this from the market. They know now it is no much more required and upgraded to Alto. Similarly, you tend to know certain times now over a period of time, maybe with the Supreme Court and the High Courts coming up with regulatory mechanism. See, they'll tend to know that without airbags, no cars will run. So that technology has to be added upon. They'll tend to know when certain technology is now dying. And once it is dying or being dead, then you have to keep on scouting for the new technology and find about how the like this is decline and how you tend to again follow the 8 new steps for the again creation of the technology and the other aspects. This I've already discussed. Barriers till the time technology in itself is just an enabler. It is the people who tend to who tend to adopt the technology, who tend to adapt the technology, who tend to run the thing. So machines are important, but I think humans are more important than the machines who make up these machines. So it has been seen that only in those areas wherein human has failed, the machine had also failed. And in some other areas also, and if you take the case of how 1947 onwards we were there, even without machines we were able to do well because the humans were having lot of passion. But if the gelling of a human and machine keeps on going, then the result will be too good. So again, as a summarization of this technology management is critical for not only creating but also sustaining a competitive advantage. As you know, strategy would mean long-term futuristic vision wherein you have a competitive advantage, and technology is an integral part. Change in technology without change in a way can lead to failure. Technology in itself is nothing. Human beings have to change, and human and technology has to work together. And leaders tend to be developed, and this goes for the institutions also. We tend to be, or we should be developing leaders who then would augment the interlinkages or bridges between the technology on one hand and the people on the other. And therefore, lastly, I would just say that this management of technology, wherein the humans and the technology has to be gelling together, it needs to be given a thumbs up approach, and a lot of collaborative effort has to be done, so our organization, they tend to grow and are being able to achieve the results that the organizations have been set up. So thank you so much. This was all I wanted to discuss with you. I think I have my time. Now, if somebody would like to ask a question, it's most welcome, or you may like to contribute to whatever I have discussed, just to add upon my knowledge also, and to add upon the knowledge of our other co-participants who are here. Yes, please. All right. So I've been directed to go center-wise. So firstly, JSS Center, JSS Academy, Noida. Any questions at your end, please? Any questions at your end, sir? I hope the topic was clear. You were able to understand what we wanted to discuss. जी जी हाँ जी मैम, put up your question please if you have any. You have discussed about risk analysis, and because I was doing some PPM also, so I only wanted to know that nowadays we talk about safety analysis. So, why legal and environmental issues you to the system. आप सिस्टम के पास आ जाइए, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है. अमर पानी है? Yes, ma'am, ask your question. जी मैम पूछिए प्लीज. You have
described pest analysis, and I have read that pest analysis.
Pardon? A pest? Okay.
Pest analysis. So will you please try to elaborate that those two LE which you have not talked about?
No, see, pest analysis is a sort of seeing into the inputs of, and this is especially useful for those companies or organization who would like to set up, plants in other countries or wherein put in the foreign direct investment there. So they have to go and to see what are the political environment, what is the economic environment, what is the social environment, and what is the technological environment. Because at the end of the day, whatever somebody would say and whatever promises are made, a businessman will only come and put his money in a country which firstly has his money safe, secondly is able to grow upon the money. That's all. So all those factors need to be seen.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, welcome. Any other question, please?
There is another question, sir.
हाँ जी बताएं बताएं.
Hello, sir. Am I speaking, sir?
जी good afternoon. Sorry, good morning. It's still morning.
Sir, this is Veena from JSS.
जी welcome Veena ma'am. बोलिए.
Sir, I'm sorry to tell you I came late and you were discussing about strategy.
हाँ.
So one query, maybe it's apart from the topic, I don't know. Blue ocean strategy is new in the trend in a market. Blue ocean strategy, the same thing, I think. So can you please enlighten us on this strategy, sir?
No, can you please repeat?
Blue ocean strategy.
No, ma'am, I'm not aware of. I'm sorry, I'm not aware of any such strategy. So if you know, you can elaborate. Others can also listen to you.
Sir, I'm not so much. I don't know in depth about this strategy,
No, that's fine. That's fine. You can just because since you have put in a question, that means you know, and maybe you worked more on this. Maybe I don't know. हाँ तो आप बता दीजिए इसमें क्या होता है. So it will be adding to my knowledge also. We are all teachers, and it will be adding to the knowledge of other co-participants also.
This is a strategy wherein the corporates nowadays they are using to sustain in a global market, as it is a very competitive world. There have to be innovations, as we have studied in the last class, lectures, and all this stuff. So innovation is very much required, and to sustain in a market, to survive, innovation is required. So they came up with the blue ocean strategy by James Quinn. He said like enter into the market where no one has touched,
Okay.
like no one has entered.
Right.
Now whatever we see this Flipkart and all is an example. Before this, we didn't have this opportunities to enter into the market and online transaction and online business and all.
Right.
So layman can enter into this network and get the things which he is required. So this was the strategy, and I just wanted to know like proper examples so that I can invite and I can transfer those informations to my students as well. So I thought like.
I'm sorry, I've not been able to put it. No, see that I've already discussed, wherein maybe because not the nomenclature, because in management sciences or which are social sciences, you can come up with so many things, but generally you're talking about technology and innovation together, and then coming out, nobody 7, 8, 10 years back thought that platform like Flipkart, Snapdeal could be able to provide you, wherein there is no brick, no mortar, and I talked about virtual banking also, which is a norm, and there are so many powerful banks in America also.
Also, one of an example, like earlier they didn't had internet and a computer. It was a culture change. It was a shock for them. We discussed that topic as well today in the end of the session. So I will take an example of the banking sector where earlier they used to do manual and ledger accounts and all this. Now they are into the system.
Yes.
And
That
this
I've already
is the
discussed.
shock and overcoming the shock and all.
No.
Technology matters in that.
Yes, thank you so much. And we had also discussed how Aadhaar card is being linked to whatever all your transaction could be in the future, maybe your loan transactions and everything. Otherwise, even government level, you have a app in terms of for passports also, wherein you can apply through them also. So even government and services are now coming on to this aspect and using this technology not only for commercial purposes but for providing e-governance to our people as such, improving their lifestyles and everything. So thank you so much, and it's added to my knowledge also. Thanks. Thank you. Any other question? All right. So we move on to Government Women Polytechnic. जी कोई सवाल है आपका?
Good morning, sir. We don't have any question, and but I would like to say that the lecture on corporate strategies had been very nice, and we've got a valuable insight about corporate strategies. But sir, I wish it would have some part that how government organizations can use strategy and technology together. Maybe
Right.
some other session we can have it. Thank you, sir. We have no questions.
Thank you, ma'am. And just to reply to you, see, I talked about the various institutions and the universities, and as such, how they are, getting used to the knowledge, the processes, the systems, and the process and the structure to get to the technology part. So, if we follow and gave you the example of how we did a manpower study and a restructuring of a government university, so as to bring it at par with the private universities, and aim is to be putting that university in the top 200. See, the idea is that technology is just a tool. What we were earlier doing manually, let's say take the case of a calculator or maybe by hand. Today we are doing it with the calculator or maybe under Excel sheet. So it makes your transactions faster. But then it can be done manually also. Here in universities and government institutions especially have to talk about the top leadership, the vision, the mission. They have to come up, and maybe there has to be stability and over a period of time, just as to make sure that in another 10 years the institute has to go up in terms of ranking, and I think that will be happening once the NAC and all these ranking come up on the scene. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Yeah, Gyanjyoti group of institutions, any queries that you have? Gyanjyoti group of institutions, good morning. है कोई query? All right, thank you. RD Jindal group of institutions, do you have any query? This is RD Jindal.
हाँ जी, रामदेवी Junior College.
जी जी जी, हाँ जी, नमस्कार.
So my question is, which strategy is used by SBUs to expand their business?
Pardon?
Which strategy is used by SBUs, strategic business units, to expand their business?
See, basically, we have to see whether you need to go on a diversification or you need to come out with organic growth or inorganic growth. That has to be seen. In what areas you need to get into. Otherwise, see, while I discussed strategy, and I maybe you joined a little later, wherein I was talking about Jack Welch and of General Electrical Company, who has so many units, starting from electrical part to the electronics to even a financial product which is offering. So he says that strategy is not to be confused. You need to think over a short period of time, you need to be cleaning, and over a long period of time, you need to be dreaming. And if we are talking about a strategic business unit, we need to think whether we need to grow in an organic manner or an inorganic manner, meaning thereby that we need to grow at the pace that we are therein, or we need to acquire or maybe merge our unit with somebody else to get into this. So any of these strategies, depending upon you or the business environment and the talks of the leadership, is more important here. So that can be taken on. But then you have to also see the SWOT analysis, the best part also, and just all these aspects, and one can get into all this. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Vidya College of Engineering, Merit. हाँ जी, नमस्कार. विद्या कॉलेज ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग मेरठ, कोई सवाल है आपका? एनी क्वेश्चंस? All right, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to be with you, and I really enjoyed the interaction as such. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.